Good morning, everyone. Today is Yom Hazikaron, the day of remembrance for our fallen soldiers in Israel. In Israel, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Israelis flock to the cemeteries, the military cemeteries, standing around the graves of their loved ones, mourning and remembering. And the siren goes off for 2 minutes, and everyone stands at attention. And when they finish, they all begin singing Hatikva, and then Ani Mamin, I believe with complete faith in the coming of Mashiach. Last week was also a week of remembrance. It was remembrance last Thursday for Yom HaShoah, for the 6 million who were murdered during the Holocaust. Now, right now, Israel and the diaspora are reading different Torah portions because Passover ended a day earlier in Israel, and while they moved on to the next Torah portion, we were still reading about Passover. So last week's Torah portion in America and diaspora was Acharei Mos, while in Israel they were reading Kedoshim. This week we're reading Kedoshim, and they're reading Emor. But if you take the three names of the Torah portions and put them together, you could form a sentence. And the sentence would be, Acharei Mot Kedoshim, after the passing of the holy ones, Emor, speak about them, speak about their courage, their sacrifices, their devotion, so we can remember them and be inspired by their lives to live with more courage and devotion. Last week on Yom HaShoah, there was a Brit Milah, circumcision, taking place. And the great-grandfather, his name was Nosson Weinberg, was the Sandak. He was honored to hold his great-grandson at the Brit Milah. Now, Nosson Weinberg is a Holocaust survivor, a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor, and he was holding his 49th great-grandchild when in the middle of the Brit, the siren went off to remember the 6 million. And everyone stopped. The father, of course, the mohel, all the guests, and remembered the 6 million. As the great-grandfather, the Holocaust survivor, held his 49th great-grandchild. And after the moment of silence was over, they began to sing a song together, May God accept our prayers and show compassion and favor to all of us. And then I read that this was not a coincidence. The family had timed the circumcision to take place, so that in the middle of the circumcision, the siren would go off at 11 o'clock and they would all be able to remember the 6 million during the circumcision. And as a tribute to the great-grandfather and his courage to survive the Holocaust, come to the land of Israel and build such a big, beautiful family to merit to hold his 49th great-grandchild. That is the story of the Jewish people. That is the story of Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. Tomorrow will be a celebration of Israel's Independence Day. And it's the story of a nation that 3 years after the Holocaust, 3 years after an attempt to annihilate the entire Jewish people by the Nazis of cursed memory, came back to their homeland, built the land of Israel, built big Jewish families, and that's the greatest tribute, to have a living legacy to the 6 million and to the soldiers who died defending the land of Israel, to carry on their dream and their vision, so their deaths will not be in vain, but they will live on through all of us. Have a meaningful Yom Hazikaron. Have a good day.